Hi, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to cover a few different areas of focus on the lower body. I want to go over some massage positions, and one of the fabulous things that I love about whole body vibration machines is there is exercise you can do, there's stretching that you can do, but you can't really get a massage from that elliptical or that treadmill or the hubby sometimes. So the nice part about this is, medically, a lot of my clients are dealing with lymphatic drainage issues, blockages. Today is World Lymphedema Day, so I thought this would be appropriate for those of you using your machines that have the range of motion to get down on the ground and massage some body parts directly, which is, like I say, a huge advantage from the accelerated time and benefits you're going to get out of this technology. You can take advantage of massage daily, multiple times daily, especially if you're dealing with chronic concerns. So I'm going to show you how to massage 80% of the lower body, depending on your range of motion and your flexibility. Some of these positions may be challenging, so I'm going to offer some suggestions. On your Pivotal platform, we're going to be working with higher frequencies today. I'm going to preset the machine that I'm using at 18 hertz. I would recommend 18 to 25 hertz for your massage. And I would recommend on your vertical platforms, bring it up. 40 to 50 hertz is an optimal frequency range on your vertical platforms. Displacement or amplitude when you're doing massage does vary on the machine that you're using. On a Pivotal style platform, you kind of want to be centered in the middle, and the intensity is going to be just like when you're standing, widening or closing up the distance between the legs to increase the amount of distance that the body is moving. On your vertical platform, if you do have an optional intensity or amplitude setting, it's really to comfort. A petite body may not be as comfortable massaging on the higher settings and higher amplitudes. When you're massaging, how it feels on your body is very different than a squat or a lunge where there's load and you're using muscle groups to physically hold you up. In a massage setting, on the higher frequency settings on these machines, the muscles are firing. If you're working with enough G-force, the muscles are responding. It's not just moving back and forth. If you have a platform that isn't capable of a high G-force and you're only limited to lower frequency ranges, you're still going to get a lot of benefit out of this, but you're not going to get the muscles responding and firing like you see in some of the research. In this position, a couple variations. You can turn it into a stretch. We're starting with a calf massage. Depending on the length of your legs, you're going to get the heels of the foot just off the back of the platform so that they're not rattling around. And you can take with your feet and you can widen them to get the outer and inner calves. You can widen up your legs or bring up the intensity on the amplitude. Really depends. And on this one, I would suggest we're going to just go 30 seconds to a minute for the purposes of today's routine, unless I talk longer. Never happens. But at home, 1 to 2 minutes per body part. You do not need more time. It would be easy to lay there for 10, 12 minutes. But if you're using the higher frequencies, muscles are firing, you're overdoing it, especially if you're dealing with chronic pain. Start with the 30 seconds to a minute mark if we're feeling good. Maybe do it more frequently or extend your durations if you're tolerating it. The next pose we're going to go, and there's a flow to my massage. Once I'm down on the ground doing massage, it's all about getting lazy. I even got a pillow here for when we're laying down. So we're going to, from this position, I'm sitting on a block. If lymphatic drainage is a concern and you've got great range of motion, you could lay on the ground and get the calves higher than the body. But to make this easy for camera today, we're going to move in this position forward now. And again, depending on the length of your legs, I'm hooked, sort of my knees are just bent and my feet are relaxed on the floor, and it's hooking me just under the butt cheek, kind of up to the top of the thigh. If you're much taller than about 5'9", 5'10", and your thighs are longer, you may need to do this one in 2 chunks to get the top part of the thighs on. If you want more intensity, lean in and get a little bit more body weight into the equation. You can lift. If we're dealing with tightness in hamstrings, a lot of my families with cerebral palsy that are stretching manually at night, this is a great way to target the back of the thighs. Don't hold it for 10 seconds, just lift and raise for 2 to 3 and relax, okay? If it's too much action, you deal with head and neck issues, you're sensitive to the vibration up in the head, you can lean back. You can even lean back on the forearms just to get it away from the head. You're not going to feel it much past the thighs in this position. The next one we're going to work on is the glutes. This position could be done facing the other way as its own thing. I'm going to, because the flow works a little bit better and you just have to move up, we're going to move up a little bit further. I'm going to put my glutes on the machine and the top of my thighs. You can hear that I'm on the machine now. Lean forward and you'll feel that the vibration almost 90% is dissipated out of the head. Again, you can lean back as another option on this one. Okay? You want to make sure your legs are stretched out. If your feet are flat on the floor, it tends to you're sitting on your butt bone and it's not terribly comfortable. This is a good variation for constipation for 10-15 seconds, but I think you'll find if you stretch those legs out and relax them, you'll be more comfortable. Next one we're going to move on to is low back. I'm not using a mat on the platform today, but as you get body parts that are less meaty, the hip bones, the knees, you may want to put a yoga mat, or if you've got a block set with your machine that comes with the mat, you may need to add a mat depending on comfort. I'm going to move up completely now, and in this position we're going to target the top of the hips and the love handles around the back. So you want to get as far to this outer edge as you can, because when you lay down, I want as much of the small of your low back on the machine as you can. And if your feet again are flat, we're going to have an arch in the back, and you want to get that part on the machine. I'm a little too close to the wall, so I lift up my legs. You can rest them on your tower. Don't push. That's not the purpose. You can pull your knees towards your chest, and it gets rid of that small in the back, and you'll feel the love handles at the back are on there. If you're dealing with pain and tension on the outer hips, you can lean your knees, one direction. You can lean the other. Just kind of play with the angles, and you'll feel it in different areas of the low back and the hips. I didn't put this one on the outline today, but if you wanted to target the outer thigh, okay, I'll show you that one next. Put both your legs on one side. You're kind of going to lay on your side like you're laying down on the couch, and you want to get that outer side of the thigh on there. Start with your hip in the middle of the platform on a pivotal machine, and to increase intensity, back yourself away from the center and get more thigh on. Now if you're up on your arm like I am here, you'll hear more intensity. It's getting a little deeper, more into my hip. If you want to lay down, you're going to get more skin surface. You're going to get the top edge of that love handle and the outer thighs. And you would flip over and do this the other way. Last position I want to show you today is going to target the top of the thighs. And you'll see I'm basically flipping myself over, and I'm going to lay down. My kneecaps are off the back end of the platform, and I'm going to get the larger part of the thighs on, and I'm going to lift up my legs. Now, for my runners, or if you're dealing with tension or spasticity, you want to stretch it out. You can stretch, or maybe have someone assist you do that. Okay? But primarily this is targeting the quads. You can play with the angles of your legs. Wiggle around a little bit. You'll feel it in different areas. Many of my experienced users I know you're going to ask, can I massage my tummy? I don't think there's ever been a study on massaging your tummy, but I've got women that have been doing this 10, 12 years. Really depends on you. If you've got anything going on down there medically, it's probably not going to be comfortable. But I do have a lot of women that have experimented. All you do is wiggle down a little bit, kind of as high as the belly button is as high as you'd want to go. If you've got sticky outy hip bones, you might want to mat it up. But you can massage your stomach. If you're sensitive, have indigestion issues, it may work for you. It may not. It's kind of one of those things. I like to use it for menstrual cramps. To be honest with you, it relieves some pain that way. If you are dealing with a bad C-section scar, you've just got some bloating there, experiment with this one for 30 seconds to a minute, see how you feel. Now, the fun part is getting up. If you deal with circulation issues, poor lymph, you tend to suffer from vertigo and those types of things. A lot of what we've been doing today has been laying down, not in a standing position, and there's a supercharged amount of lymph and blood flow that occurs through massage. For those dealing with lymphatic issues specifically, we tend to think of where the nodes are located and getting action going in those areas, but you've got lymph intertwined throughout the muscles, so that the more muscle fiber that you can activate, the more you kind of get into that deep junk in the trunk. And the number one reason I think a lot of people use and stick with the massage has nothing to do with the benefits, although it certainly does make you feel better. Realistically, it's a skin tone thing. Cellulite, it breaks up that connective tissue and those dimples start to dissipate. It will firm you. It's not going to give you the muscle definition that squats and lunges and those types of exercises will offer. Of course, always in unison, but if you've got the range of motion is a gift, and this just gives you some opportunity to get down on the ground, some ideas for off days. You might just pick one or two of these massages and add it on at the end or as a warm-up as to something else you're doing. Experiment with what feels good with you and mix your frequencies up from week to week. There's not a lot of change that you can make to these type of positions, so utilize your frequency range and mix it up from week to week to keep the changes progressing. And if you have any specific body parts that you're trying to target through massage, there's nothing that I have not played with. Please put your questions in the feed today. If you're looking for something more specific and some guidance from me one-on-one, you can arrange for a consultation for a nominal fee. You can ask me about that as well. Thanks for joining today.